Hello and welcome back to another preseason team reveal video. We've all gone once already so far, so now I'll be doing our updated teams, looking at what's changed and any new thinking we may have. So let's get into it. So starting off with the wing fullbacks. Previously, I had Farlongo, Chester, and To'o. To'o is now gone, and now I have Jai Gray instead. I actually always preferred Jai Gray to To'o. I didn't have Gray because I didn't want to have three Souths for their early bye. But after thinking about it, I don't think it's that big of an issue. It's unlikely that I'll have lots of injuries and suspensions. Like obviously it can happen, but it's probably easy to navigate early in the season. So at this stage, I'm okay with having three of those players. Um, yeah, Farlongo speaks for himself. He won't be leaving my team. He's the only mainstay really in my weak fullbacks. And then Chester's still there. He is a placeholder. I'm assuming he starts still, but there is some risk now maybe that Purdue goes back to center and Chester loses his spot. So it could be Chester, it could be Setu too, could be Fayamani. But yeah, he's there for now. In terms of my centers, I previously had Penasini and Kiraz. Penasini is still there, and I'm quite keen on him. But you might see I now have Kurt Capewell instead of Kiraz, which is a bit interesting. Probably people think it's a bit strange. Anyway, um, yeah, I'll be talking up Kiraz a lot in preseason, but after thinking about it, like round one is in Vegas, so he might struggle with the smaller field size. Then Bulldogs have the bye in round two, and then I think we verse Canberra in round three. Let me just double check that. Yeah, Canberra. So it's not the easiest fixture either. So it's a pretty tough start. Um, there isn't really any value there. I just had him because I liked his DPP. Um, yeah, so he's gone currently. He might come back, but I have Capel there currently. We talked about him in the podcast a bit. The other boys weren't too keen on Capel, but I quite like him. I always love second rowers who are available at centre. He played centre quite a bit last year due to injuries and whatnot, which brought down his average. When he plays 80 minutes in the second row, he usually scores like high 30s, low 40s. So there is, I think, like 6 points of value there roughly, which, given how dire the centre position is this year, like I don't think it's terrible. Um, but also on the other point of view, he is getting older. He can still get moved to centre. So I'm not 100% set on him. There is some risk, obviously, but he's there for now with my current structure. Um, Cleary and Brown are still my halves, as they were last time. I have had Izzy Katoa in quite a lot of drafts. He's not there currently. I just couldn't fit him in with this current structure, but I still like him. Also, Jerome Hughes in my consideration. But yeah, I'm just I think Brown's a bit safer, I guess, at the cheaper price point. So that's why he's there. My edges are still the same. I still have McEwen and Couchman. McEwen's been named on the bench, interestingly, for the second trial. And round one, the first trial, he was ruled out. So there's some question marks there. He could be gone for my team if he doesn't start round one. Um, if Thomas can't start in his place, then I'll probably just do a straight switch. But yeah, McEwen stays there for now. In terms of my bids, Hamish Stewart, who's been in my team all preseason pretty much, he has now left my team. Dragons uh, second trial match, their team looks pretty much full strength, and Stewart is not is on the bench with Harmaisele starting a lock, which I find really surprising, but that throws some doubt over Stewart. So Tino and Mooney and Yo as well are all still there as they were last time. Tino and Mooney I'm very much set on. I don't see them leaving my team. Zio is still there, but I have actually had him out of quite a lot of drafts between the last video and this video. But he's found himself back in there, mainly due to the Stewart stuff like I talked about. Um, I like Yo, but I do think he is expendable if necessary, if I need the funds elsewhere. But he remains for now. I've experimented with a few Halves drafts, but it just makes the rest of my team too weak. And as we've said already, like he's overpriced. And I actually looked at his numbers more closely, and I think there is a world where he could even be like close to 10 points overpriced. I just don't see him maintaining what he did last year. He typically averages like mid 60s. So, and he's priced at 75, I think, or 74. So, yeah, the only thing that scares me with Haas is the ownership. But when I think about it, if his ownership was like 20% instead of 60%, then I would be so much more confident anyway. So I've just got to try and block out the ownership factor, I guess. But at this stage, I don't think he'll be in my team. Moving on to hooker, I had Hayward previously. I've gone a bit cold on Hayward, and I really like Harry Grant. He's just super safe. Um, Storm don't have a buy for quite a while. Yeah, their first buy is in round 15, which is really good. I think I saw something about they usually play late in the round, most rounds. So if something does happen to him, like he gets injured or is a late withdrawal from the team, you can easily sell him to someone that plays earlier, if that makes sense. So I really like Grant. I think he's due for a bounce back year. Maybe more responsibility with Pappenhausen gone. So I quite like him. I still don't mind Hayward. Um, but I just don't know. Bulldogs have the round two bye, so you can wait on him a bit if you want to see how he goes. I've had Marnie in a few drafts, but when I think about it, like Sonny Luke's going to be in the 19 every week. He could easily, maybe not every week he'll steal minutes, but I can see him doing it more often than not. I think there's just too much risk there. Yeah, like Grant, Hayward, and Smith, Brandon Smith are the only hookers I'm really considering. No one else really interests me at this stage. Moving on to the bench, most of the guys are still the same. Um, I had Tatum on the bench in the last video, but now he's starting. I've done a bit of a switch there. But I still have Fafita. I still have Colhoun. The main one is I've added Ethan Sanders. I couldn't fit him in my first draft, but after thinking about it, like he's just such a simple pick. There's just obvious value there, and it'd be silly to go without him. So he's now been added, and also Macassini is in there. He's a placeholder like Chester, but I've dropped Farley because he's not in Dragons trial team this week, which looks full strength. It looks like Setu 2 has overtaken him, which is unfortunate because he was going to get DPP. So Macassini's in there over him currently. We saw in the Tigers photo shoot that Macassini was wearing number 5. So it looks like he'll start, but still we can't be 100% certain. It is a bit of a risk with the Tigers round 1 bye as well. So I'm still not sure if I'm definitely going to go Macassini, but he's there for now. Um, you can see I have 112k in the bank, and I don't know where to use it, to be honest. Um, yeah, like I could use it most likely if I'm going to be in my halves, like upgrading Dylan Brown as someone, or upgrading one of my centers or wing fullbacks. But at this stage, I'm happy to have that much money in the bank, and I'll use it if I need to. But I'm pretty happy with my team currently. Couchman's still my captain, and I don't see that changing. Yeah, like I already mentioned, the smaller field. Couchman's a beast. He should play massive minutes, get to a lot of work, and obviously with the flexibility, you can move around your other players. I always prefer captaining a Vegas player in case, like, if you captain Cleary, for example, and then he gets injured between the Vegas games and the rest of the round, then he'd be locked in and you can't transfer him out, which would be really annoying. So yeah, that's why I have Couchman mainly. I don't see that changing. Um, But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I'm pretty happy with my current draft. There's not too many players I feel like I'm missing, so I'm pretty happy about that. Obviously, it'll probably change again. Any bit of news that comes out, it can affect a lot of things. So we'll have to wait and see what changes next. But yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.